I don't wanna waste my life. I don't wanna waste my life. I don't wanna waste my life. Sometimes when the beat hits, it's just some things there's no going back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not the one with the issues. I hear you. Now here is your tissue. If I'm moving too fast, I might have to dismiss you. And it's really too bad, cause I really will miss you. But I'm not the one with the issues. I left them at church when I made it official. I murdered the curse with my own benediction. Left God in the dirt, call it death of the fiction. Superstition will be served in eviction. Competition will be left in a ditch. Oh my God, it's too damn hot in this kitchen. The fishes are men, I'm not sleeping with fishes. Oops, my bad, I guess I'm moving too vicious. Verses sold, I gotta put them on your wish list. Bless my soul, cause I'm dodging your little hit list. I guess you know you just lost another witness. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go right now. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go, I'm out of here. I can do anything, fuck your opinions and energy. I finally got the epiphany, my biggest hindrance was God can't do nothing but fail. Greater is me, I never needed your deity. All of this human capacity, when it gets rough I can pick myself up and prevail. Cause I don't need anything other than people who fuck with me. Good business, it starts with your company. That's why your boy is obsessed with community. Cause greater is we can create opportunity. Doing what God never did, cause if God never could. But the people is all we need. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go right now. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go, I'm out of here. Let me go, I'm out of here. Let me go, I'm out of here. Let me go, I'm out of here.
Hello, beautiful people. How are you doing out there? Listen, welcome to Sunday Sessions. You know, this is our weekly touch point for connection, community, and conversation. So whether you're watching us live, thank you, or you're watching on the global campus or having a local watch party, or you're going to catch the replay, we appreciate you too, okay? And it wouldn't be right if we didn't mention our mission, and that is to simply help you connect better, build better, and live better. And our values are also clear. We are forward thinking, we are people centric, and we are life affirming. Okay, affirm yourself sometimes. That's what you got to do. Our why is the heartbeat of it all, and that is that people matter. Everything we do revolves around that concept that people matter. And we don't all have it together, right? We don't have to be perfect here. We are just intentional about connection and shared responsibility and honest thinking, okay? And I love that about us. Now, if this is your first time with us, listen, we have a first time gift for you. I need you to follow that link, okay, on the screen, or click it from the chat, okay? And that is our small token of hospitality, and it's just giving you a guide of how to navigate connection a little bit better. So we would love for you to go ahead and get that. And if you are a regular, you are a returner, okay, and this is home for you, we appreciate you as well. You keep us going, you keep us moving, you keep us motivated. And I'm so excited for this new series because our March series, we're going to be talking about the greater gospel. Okay. You remember the good news? We talk about the greater gospel, okay? For a long time, many of us have been given a gospel that's been kind of too small, right? And now we're moving beyond those old frameworks and we're discovering something more powerful. And so throughout this series, we're going to be exploring how freedom from religious superstition actually gives us a greater gospel, one that is radical but also inclusive and deeply empowering and centered on human flourishing here and now. So we're moving from a message of escape to a message of evolution. How about that? And by the end of the series, the goal is for us to see when you lose the constructs, you don't lose the truth. You finally find freedom in it. Okay. And by the way, if you didn't know, March is Women's History Month and also National Reading Month. I have 4 book recommendations for you for my, these are by U.S. women authors, but of course, those in other countries, please drop your women authors in the chat that you love and your recommendations as well. Listen, I have to mention Maya Angelou, okay? She has 7 autobiographies, but this one is one of my favorites. It's her second one, Gathered Together in My Name. I love this. This is continuing after I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings. If you want to dive a little bit more into her mindset, she is super funny. In her earlier years, this is a good one to follow and read. And none other, this next one, The Three Mothers. And this is how the mothers of Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and James Baldwin shaped a nation. This is so good. This dives more into the mother's life and their journey and how they navigated as they were having children and how they raised them and what happened during that. And this is by Anna Tubb. So go check that out. If you're into historical fiction and you haven't checked out The Personal Librarian, this actually came out last year. This is 2 women. They're co-authors of this book, and they actually write together a lot. And that's Marie Benedict and Victoria Christopher Moray. And this book follows Belle DaCosta and her family. And her name's actually Bella, and how she got the job with JP Morgan Chase. And it's a very interesting journey here and what their family goes through and what she decides to do. And if you don't know about Miss Taylor Jenkins Reid, oh my goodness, she writes some amazing stories. She came out with a book in 2025 called Atmosphere. And this book actually follows women scientists, the first woman scientist who went out to be a part of the NASA space shuttle program in the 1980s. And so, a very great story. And if you don't already, what are you waiting on? Go ahead and follow me on my YouTube channel at DaranteLaMar. I had to plug it in, okay? Give me a time to plug it in. But over there, I do bookish content, motivational videos, personal development, and a little vlogs here and there. So if you like that type of content, go hang out with me over there. All right. But before we get into today's conversation, let's go ahead and check out Bridge City News.
What's up, Bridge City? Happy Sunday or whatever day it is on your side of the world. My name is Elaine, and I'm here to give you a look at what's happening across our community. There's a lot going on here. We are growing and shifting and unfolding, and I want to make sure that you're in the loop. At Bridge City Global, Women's History Month is a time to honor the brilliance, resilience, and leadership of women whose impact shapes families, workplaces, movements, and communities across the world every single day. From organizing and caregiving to leading change, building businesses, and creating opportunity, women are often a driving force behind strong, thriving communities. This month, we celebrate the power of women and recommit to building communities that reflect their strength, wisdom, and lasting influence. We're under construction. We've officially launched the lobby of our global campus. It's a one-stop shop to move through the campus experience and see how we're growing and expanding as a community. There, you will find a welcome center, event center, business center, and more. Drop by today and check out how our global campus is expanding to accommodate our growth. Want to host a watch party? Have you ever been in the middle of a Sunday session and thought, I wish this was available in my city in person? Well, you could be the person who becomes that spark. Hosting a weekly watch party is the first step to bringing the Bridge City experience to your city. A watch party is a small, in-person gathering, usually 3 or more people, where friends meet at someone's home or venue to watch the community's weekly online session together, creating a shared experience for community, conversation and growth. It's about building relationships and community around our mission and message, with hosts providing a welcoming space, food, and discussion supported by our community resources. Visit the link to discover everything you need to start, host, and lead a watch party. Every first Sunday of the month is Bridge City Movie Night. And in April, we'll be watching Sinners, a supernatural horror thriller directed by Ryan Coogler, who also directed Marvel's Black Panther movies. Wakanda Forever, yes, hunting! Sinners features Michael B. Jordan in a dual role as 1930s Mississippi twins, Smoke and Stack, who have returned to their hometown to start a life anew. The brothers open a juke joint only to confront a terrifying evil that forces them to defend their community over a single brutal night. Your girl can't handle all that, so LA ain't gonna be sitting this one out, but y'all make sure y'all show up, okay? Connect with like-minded people on a deeper level by joining one of our clubs. This month, we're highlighting the Wellness Club. The Wellness Club is dedicated to fostering self-awareness and emotional well-being through mindful practices. Members will explore tools and practices like breathing exercises, meditation, journaling, and stretching, all aimed at promoting emotional regulation and inner growth. Expect regular posts featuring wellness activities and self-care practices. Join, share, and learn which tools resonate best for you to cultivate a more balanced and resilient mindset. So make sure y'all join us in the Wellness Club. To all of our new members, welcome. We know that joining a new community, especially online, can be overwhelming. That's why we've been intentionally working on building a campus experience that helps orient you and makes it easy to navigate all that Bridge City is and offers. If you haven't already, visit the link today and make the most of your member experience, because at Bridge City, membership matters. Since the start of the year, more than 40 people have made the decision to connect with Bridge City as their community of choice, and we couldn't be more excited. Every new connection is a step closer to a better world. Make sure to explore the campus, complete the new member journey, and introduce yourself so that you can start making an impact. Are you ready to get involved? Visit our Teams page to explore the growing number of opportunities to do the work of community. As we're moving from conceptual to operational, we need volunteers to be the bridge so that people can see the vision. Volunteering isn't just about helping the community look good. It's how we empower the community to actually do good. Every volunteer expands our capacity to support our growing body of members and mobilize around our mission in real time. And it's also the easiest way to build new relationships that make life meaningful. Becoming a volunteer gives you more people to call, more people to laugh with, and more people to face life with. Visit the link on the screen to explore the growing number of opportunities to get involved. And if you don't see anything that piques your interest, reach out to the team. At Bridge City, we understand that a greater gospel requires a greater commitment to one another. Every second Tuesday of the month is Giving Tuesday. Now, you know how we do things over here. We don't ask for tithes, we don't collect dues, and we certainly don't use guilt as a motivator. However, this community is sustained by the regular, intentional contributions of our members. Your radical generosity is what empowers us to show up every Sunday. It's what allows us to provide an expansive global campus experience and to launch the local events that make new, real-world communities possible. Giving Tuesday is our monthly reminder that this vision doesn't build itself. It's built by people. We can't offer you a mansion in the afterlife in exchange for your gift. But what we can offer is continued community, expanding resources, and the collective power to change the world in real time. If you understand our mission is worth building and our vision is worth supporting, mark the second Tuesday of this month on your calendar. Let's choose association over isolation, and let's fund the freedom we're finding together. Generosity is making this possible, and thank you for building with us. That's everything for this week. This is a great opportunity to share the stream before the conversation starts. And if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you for being the bridge. Let's get into today's conversation. Take it away, Darante.
Welcome in, everybody. That was just absolutely amazing. I get such a joy and pleasure out of watching our opening now, because like none of that is me. Like that's all our team. So thank you so much, Elaine. Thank you, Darnea, my wife. Thank you, Zernial. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Anna. It's just amazing how many people are actually contributing to what we do now on a weekly basis, and it's so beautiful. I hope you all are having a wonderful Sunday. Last week we started a great series, and I'm gonna talk about it in a few minutes. But before I do that, I have to see. Listen, if you're here and you're a first-time guest, we have a gift for you. You can follow the link on the screen, and we'll put that gift in your hand. And as I remind people every weekend, no, this is not an attempt to get your email address. So at this one, all you do, you go there, you just download the gift. This is an attempt to help you connect better. And so if this is your first time here, please go get your free gift. And if you've been here before and you're like, I didn't know they got free gifts, then feel free to go get yours too. There's really no rules on it. You know what I'm saying? So do what you do. Also, where are you watching from? And I love it. I feel like we had some people already dropping. I think I saw Illinois in the chat. I think I saw Kenya in the chat. Yeah, that Kenya in the chat. Drop in where you're watching from. You never know, you might be watching with your neighbor, right? Drop in where you're watching from as you're coming in. You might be watching with your neighbor. And then there's something special happening on the campus coming up. And I really want to highlight this thing, man, y'all. On March 15th, let me make sure I've got the right date. Yeah. On March 15th, the Music Club is presenting a Raise Your Voice workshop, where it's going to be dealing with the fundamentals of singing. Cary, North Carolina in the building, where it's going to be dealing with the fundamental, y'all let me get my words right, the fundamentals of singing. And it's going to be hosted by our music club on our global campus. And I'd love to see you all there. I think it's going to be an incredible event. It is hosted by none other than the incredible Jude, who's often in our chat on Sunday sessions. And so make sure you be there or you be square. You feel me? All right. So let's jump into today, because I have some stuff to talk about. We started a new series last week, The Greater Gospel. And oh my goodness, the feedback has been incredibly overwhelming. This has been it feels good. It feels good to be able to talk about something that's actually helping people orient and find new life. Phoenix, Arizona is in the house. Orlando, Florida for the first time. Welcome in, Tiffany Larkins. Make sure you get your free gift. We give gifts to first timers, so make sure you get your free gift. As I told you last week, over the next few weeks, we're just going to be exploring this idea of a greater gospel as human responsibility as opposed to divine mandate. And this has really been a phenomenal conversation so far. And the big point that we pulled out of last weekend, wow, Delhi, India, that is beautiful. That is really beautiful. Vancouver, yes. Jude, I just got finished telling them about your workshop. Yes, March 15th. I'm excited about it. I hope y'all are there. The big point that I pulled out of last weekend, as far as why I still do what I do, and this will make sense in a few minutes, is that I did not lose my mission when I lost my faith. My mission was to do good. My mission was to do well. My mission was to help people. My reason for deconverting is because I realized that my relationship with a God was getting in the way of my relationship with people. And like one of my last prayers that I prayed was, listen, I don't know if you're real or not, but I cannot put anything out there before people ever again. I can't do it. And so that was real for me. So I still had a mission, and my mission is to help decrease harm and increase well-being. So I didn't lose my mission when I lost my faith. I just opted for a bigger one. And so in that last week, we unpacked that in the old gospel. In the old gospel, I loved you because there's this man in the sky that will punish me if I don't love you, right? But in the greater gospel, as we're calling it, the greater gospel, the good news. If that was the good news, the great news is nobody has to die for me to love you. Nobody has to command me to love you. I love you because you're here. Period. Like that. That's literally enough. Hey, you here? Okay. All right. I love you. I love you. I guess I gotta have to because you're here. Like, ain't that how family works sometimes? Like when especially you grow up with a household like mine. There was a bunch of different people that lived in the household, and oh, you here too? All right, I guess we love you too then. Get on in here. You know what I'm saying? But that's kind of how life is for me now. And I can't even take the credit for this series. And so I gave the credit to where credit was due last week. And I told y'all this came from a conversation between me and Joe Pittinger, who I've had on the channel. And I think I told y'all when I had him on the channel that I was going to steal his idea. I had him to talk about it because I thought it was so great. And I told him that, hey, I'm going to take that and I'm going to turn it into a whole series because it's so good. And just to give you a little recap of how that went, I asked Joe, I'm like, hey man, why do you still do this? Because again, I know why I still do this. I know why I still show up on Sundays. And why I still get a passion out of trying to build communities around the needs of people, where they are, why they are, how they are. Like, I know why I do it. Like, I have sociological reasons why I find the value in this. But my background is sociology, and so I'm talking to Joe, and I'm like, so what was your reason? And interestingly enough, which I didn't even think about this until now, Joe's background is also in the social sciences, and so just very interesting. But Joe literally, in the most modern secular sense you can, Joe pastors a church that he inherited from an atheist pastor. Like, like that's the world that he lives in. And so I asked him, I said, man, why do you still do this? Like, if you don't believe in a God anymore, like if you don't believe in people being anointed to do things or people being called to do things anymore, then what compels you to do this? If you're not called to do this by God, then what compels you to still do this? And then Joe looked at me like, just like he didn't even have to think about it. He was like, dude, we have the bigger gospel. And it like almost sent chills down my spine because it's like, no, you are, bro, you are undeniably correct. We have to, because again, that was the reason that I deconverted in the first place. Flashback to last week. It wasn't just that the gospel was broken, and it was. The gospel was broken. I think we all knew that. Most of my contemporaries, we had spent the majority of our time wrestling with the broken gospel. We saw ourselves as the fixer of the faith, as the fixers of the faith. So the fact that the gospel was broken was really never enough for us to walk away. But the moment we realize that, oh snap, the gospel might be limited, that maybe love your neighbor is limited. Maybe love your neighbor sounds good, but I really could be loving everybody. Oh man. Okay. So I'm sorry. So that was my conversation with Joe. He said we have the bigger gospel, and in a sense, what he meant was by saying that is that we don't have restrictions on who we love. We don't have filters on who we love. We don't have barriers on who we value. Right? We have the greater gospel. The good news was, and I don't want to walk through all of last week, but the good news was I came to set the captive free. The greater news is you're capable of setting yourself free, and we're here to support you in the process. You know what I'm saying? Yes, man. Oh, this is so good. All right, so I'm ready for this. So, man, I hope y'all are ready for this. Over the past 4 years, researchers with Harvard Graduate School of Education's Making Caring Common, and isn't that nice? You rarely hear of that side of Harvard that they have a that they have a School of Education's Making Caring Common. We're just going to call it MCC from now, because every time I say it in my voice, I don't hear caring, I hear Karen. And I don't think we want to make Karens common. So we're going to call this MCC, Making Caring, not Karen, Caring Common, the MCC project. But they've been investigating the underlying causes of loneliness. And in May of 2024, they conducted a national survey with the company YouGov to find out what Americans had to say about the problem, as well as the types of solutions they supported. And basically, what this is around is there was this announcement that we're dealing with a loneliness epidemic, specifically in the West. So, some of the leading causes of loneliness in America, according to all who were surveyed, is 73% of those surveyed selected technology as contributing to loneliness in the country. 66% chose insufficient time with family as a reason for loneliness. 62% surveyed picked overworked or too busy or tired. 60% of people chose mental health challenges that harm relationships with others. And that's real. That's 60% of people. And I'm sorry, I know I was on a listicle for a moment, but I do have to pause right here and just parenthetically insert my thoughts right here. Just my thoughts. 60% of people chose mental health challenges that harm relationships with others. And that's just wild to me, because it's so real to be dealing with a mental struggle that won't even let you engage with the people you love the way that you need to, or the way that they need you to. And to be and to have the awareness to be able to put that about yourself on a survey, that's some real awareness right there. That's some real awareness right there. All right. People saying, no, I got some mental health challenges, whether it's my anxiety, whether it's my panic, whether it's my fear, whether it's my depression. I got something that I'm dealing with. And it's leading to loneliness in my life, because even when I got people in my life who I love and I care about, because of my issues, it still don't work right. Man, that's crazy, man. Like, ooh. It's 58%. I'll move on. That was just wild to me. It was just 58% named living in a society that is too individualistic as a cause of the loneliness problem. I'd love, I won't be able to keep up with it on a Sunday, but I'd love to come back and read what you think some of the things that contribute to loneliness are. But 58% named living in a society that is too individualistic as a cause of the loneliness problem. And then 50% of people selected no religious or community life. Too much focus on one's own feelings. That hurt me a little bit, because I am incredibly focused on my own feelings. And the changing nature of work with more remote and hybrid schedules. Which I know I've worked remote probably for almost the last decade of my life. At least 3/4 of people who were surveyed highlighted the following solutions to loneliness. And trust me, I'm going somewhere here. Reach out to family or friends. Learn to love myself. I love that one, because, okay, listen. Okay, now let me go back, because I need to make sure y'all understood what this is again. At least 3/4 of people who were surveyed highlighted the following solutions to loneliness. All right. The first solution, I like that. The first solution is reach out to family or friends. This is a solution to loneliness. The second one is learn to love myself. And I'm getting a kick out of that right now, because basically the second one is like, get used to it. Get used to it. That's one part of it, is like, get used to it. But now there is a real aspect of it, and that is a part of the loneliness feeling, not being comfortable being by myself. Oh, we're gonna wrestle with some stuff. Okay. The third one, watch this one. And I like this. I didn't even see the way these were related before. Like, I'm gonna get me a green screen in here that I can put my PowerPoint stuff on so I can point to it. But I like this one because it's like, learn to be more forgiving of others. All right. Because there's like there's there's like a dual admission in that. That is, number one, either like I either have high standards or people have low standards. Like, that's what that one is. Like, I'm dealing with loneliness because people either don't meet my standards, or everybody is just like, I'm just gonna have to tolerate where everybody is. And that is a part of that's a part of something that happens, that I definitely see a lot, because people are still wrestling with the myth of perfection. And we have not come out of the myth of perfection yet. Like, two P's, and one of these P's we're going to talk about a lot today, but two P's that are killing relationships right now. And I mean all spans of relationship. I know we're not back and falling in love with reason, but it's all relationships, right? Two P's that are killing the way we do relationships right now: purity and perfection. Okay, man. Purity and perfection. These are the two P's that are probably doing the most damage in relationships. And so that learn to be more forgiving of others, it might be some wrestling with that one. And then I really love this fourth one, and that's finding ways to help others. And I think one of the things I like about all of these solutions is that Bridge City is an advocate for all of them. Reaching out to family and friends, yeah. Learning to love yourself, absolutely. Learning to be more graceful with others, absolutely. And finding ways to help others. I think these are all excellent solutions. Among their own recommendations, the MCC, Making Caring Common, researchers stress the need to promote a culture that cares and serves others. Collective service can provide important connections that relieve loneliness, they state, as well as cultivate meaning and purpose and mitigate mental health challenges. They also urge public and private leaders to build up social infrastructure in order to help people develop meaningful relationships with others. Okay, I want to translate that for it. Okay, do y'all mind if I take my time this morning? This weekend, this afternoon, whatever it is. I don't know what time it is. I'm high. Let's go. Do y'all mind if I take my time? Because I want to read that again, and then I want to translate it. Okay. Among their own recommendations, the MCC researchers stress the need to promote a culture that cares and serves others. Okay. Collective service can provide important connections that relieve loneliness, as well as cultivate meaning and purpose and mitigate mental health challenges. This is what they say. These Harvard researchers, these Harvard School of Education, MCC researchers, this is what they say, okay? This is not me paraphrasing yet, all right? They also urge public and private leaders to build up social infrastructure in order to help people develop meaningful relationships with others. Now, if we were in the same room right now, as an effective communicator, I would read that a few more times. I would read it a few more times, and I'd walk back and forth. I'd pace back and forth. I might even walk down the aisle until people get it, because what MCC researchers came to the conclusion of in May 2024 is what I was already working on as of March. Okay, y'all ain't getting it yet. Y'all ain't getting it yet. Listen, you're slow, but you are so worth waiting on. Okay, so come on, I'm going to help you get it. Lean in, lean in. You got to get close for this one. In March of 2024, we launched Bridge City Sunday Sessions with a mission to connect better, to build better, so that people can do what? Live better. What are we doing? We are building social infrastructure in order to help people develop meaningful relationships with others. What are we doing? We're trying to promote a culture that cares and serves others. So in other words, what did MCC say? They said the solution to loneliness is Bridge City. Did y'all not miss that? Did y'all miss that? Did y'all not catch that? Did you? Was it not clocking? Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. But no, that was so good to me. That's so good to me. Like, it's like, no, yeah, this is what we need to be working on. 3/4 of those surveyed said they wanted more activity and fun community events where they live. Who knows what a major part of our mission is? To plant local community campuses. Not trying to build a personality kingdom around me. I just so happen to be the spokesperson right now. I just so happen to be the loudest voice in the room. I'm the midget on the mountain right now. You know? Oh, I can't talk about the midget on the mountain into the next series. Y'all got to be here next month for that. All right. And they want public spaces that are more accessible and connection focused. Okay? Okay, so one of the things that religion has done a great job of monopolizing in the West are third spaces. Okay? Third spaces used to be like the bar, where everybody knows your name type of thing. Churches did a excellent job. My church was one of the churches. We were those churches. We weren't grandmama's church. There were no flowers in our churches, no flowers on the stage in our churches. I painted all the walls in my church black, and the people thought that I had lost my mind. They were like, okay, I think he worshiped the devil. I think nobody was surprised when I became an atheist, because like I've been slaughtering sacred cows since I was a child on the altar of progress, you know. But I painted all the walls black because it was some things that I wanted to do with the lighting. But anyway, churches have done a great job of monopolizing third spaces, you know, third spaces where people can go and they can not just Sunday fun. Yeah, great. Not just for Sunday, but it's a space that people can go anytime throughout the week and do whatever they want to do. If they're musicians, they got time to hang with other musicians. If they're singers, they have time to hang with other singers. If they love children, they got time to do stuff with children. Whatever your hobby, they got it there, as long as it fits within the confine of their theology. All right. Okay. But in a world where more and more people are deconstructing not just their religion, but their culture and even their political ideologies, then they're getting their access to third spaces becomes restricted. Because now it's like, I don't know if I can sit in this room anymore. Like literally, that's why many of us deconvert, is because we realize like, damn, I can't sit in this room anymore. As much as I like the things, as much as I like some of the things in this room, and like y'all can look at me and tell that I loved what I got from church, man. I love being able to sing. I love being able to preach my little ass off. I love being able to work together with other people. I love being able to mobilize volunteers. I love potlucks, bruh. What? No, I loved having something to do literally every day. I loved having a purpose for getting up. But at the same time, you get to a point where it's like, but I just can't sit in this room no more. Oh man, as much as I love the people that I love here, as much as I like, damn, I even love the songs, but now I can't even listen to the lyrics no more. It's like, oh my goodness, you know? And so as that is happening, There is no alternative third space. And this is something that I've been spearheading for as long as I can. And it's not just me. And y'all know I've been very vocal about this. Sunday Assembly has been doing this longer than I have. Houston Oasis, the Oasis group has been doing this longer than I have. You got the Universal Unitarians, they doing it too, sort of, kind of, but there's everybody doing it, but it is necessary to create third spaces for people, places that still meet that need, which means we have to wrestle with, why did people stay so long? Why did they want to be there? And my answer is like, because it is not the theology that people was attracted to. No one theology. Didn't none of us really believe God was a good guy? No, it wasn't the theology. It was always the community. And then somehow we've allowed ourselves to allow the church and religion to monopolize community. Because now anything that looks like community, oh, y'all ain't ready for me today. Anything that looks like community, anything that sounds like community, anything that walks like community, we say, well, damn, that looks a little bit too much like church. And it's like, no, because church has been the only thing that has been doing community for so long that you don't know what community looks like anymore. Church has become substitute for community. Oh, damn. Okay, I'm sorry. So I hope that helps you understand why the work we do here at Bridge City is so important. Modern loneliness, and man, oh, that's my whole life. Come on now. Modern loneliness is a symptom of exclusionary love. This is my thesis. We have built a world where you are an enemy unless you are a friend, leaving no room for the common rational bridge of reason. Religion and modern tribalism prioritize being right over being well. What do you think about that? Like I want to do a thought experiment one day on the utility of rightness, because that's like a lot of conversations are about people wanting to be right. And I've shared this story with y'all one time about me sitting with one of my friends, or like it was like a group of them, and for whatever reason they had went through the season where they were really interested in this theory that aliens, lizard people had taken over the White House and everything, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm an author, sci-fi author, so I like foolishness. I like speculative foolishness, okay? But then at one point I realized, like, this ain't even really, you're not really interested in doing this for real, for real. The high you get off of this is just possibly being right. Like it's not that, ooh, if I'm right, we need to do something. The end game for you is just, see, I was right, y'all. I was right. And I had to sit there, it's like, do you know how useless that is? Like, dealing with the utility of being right. Like, there's some times where being right really, really matters. You know what I'm saying? Like if that sign says end of the road and you say, nah, that sign is wrong. It really matters if you're right or not, But outside of cases like that, like, I'm like, what is the utility of you being right in this moment? Who does it help? Who does it protect? And I think those are sometimes very complicated things to deal with. But religion and modern tribalism, like, and again, it's not just religion. It begins to prioritize being right over being well. And I know religion did that to me, because y'all have heard me tell my story. Y'all have heard me tell it with tears in my eyes. Like, one of the things that I had to realize is, like, I'm not well. And this whole time I thought I was right. And so, how is it possible that I was right, but I'm not well? Something's wrong there. That math is not mathing. And so, my rightness needs to always be considerate of my wellness. This is, bruh, jalapeno. I almost spoke in tongues right there. No, my rightness needs to always be needs to always be considerate of my wellness. And that's one of the things that I thought about over a decade ago when I deconstructed and walked away from the pulpit. I wanted to start Bridge City back then. I did. I wanted to tell everybody, but I realized that that rightness would interrupt other people's wellness. And I had no way at that time to provide any type of infrastructure to support people. I realized that no, it's right to tell people that what they're believing is a lie. But I also have to consider the consequences, especially in the Bible Belt, which is where I live, if their parents decide to kick them out of the house. Dang, I don't have an extra room. You know? Like y'all don't want to talk. The rightness has to be in consideration of wellness. We're lonely because our institutions are checking for our allegiance instead of our ailments. We live in a society that would rather you be orthodox and isolated than integrated and thriving. And at a time where the collective conversation seems to be centered on who do we hate, this weekend, I want to change the subject by shifting the question to the other side of the spectrum, and that is, who do you love? Who do you love? And are you for sure? You know, who do you love? You know, last weekend I highlighted a few scriptures from the gospel of Christianity to demonstrate the impact of the promotion of the good news as virtuous on global societies. While my goal was not necessarily to attack Christianity, it was to highlight that the limited gospel of religious frameworks have significantly impacted the way we relate to each other and impact the world. The big point was that accepting good news as good, even among secular circles, was problematic because not only was the gospel broken, but it was limited. It limited the reason why we could love others, and it limited who we could love. And I know a lot of times we say things like, no, the gospel is one of the most profoundly loving books and profoundly loving messages in the world. And I'm like, no, that's the problem. The problem is if you can read the gospels and come out and call that loving, we have a problem. And the problem is either you don't understand the context or you didn't read it, you know, or you just wicked. Because here it is. The gospel is very clear. And I've pointed this out in my Monday through Friday content. The gospel does not preach an inclusive love. It is an exclusionary love. Love your neighbor. He pulls that from Leviticus. Leviticus defines very clearly who your neighbor is and who your neighbor isn't, you know. Oh, y'all ain't ready for me. Y'all for God so loved the world that he gave his only son. Now, the way that is interpreted by modern Christianity is that God so loved the world that he killed his son for the world, or that he let his son get killed for the world. Now, that's not actually the interpretation of that, but that's how modern Christianity preaches it. And modern secularists still call it love. That somehow killing your child to please other people meets the standard of love. Y'all got to help me. So today we're gonna do something very similar. We're gonna do something very similar. Very similar. I want to point out some other tensions in the text just to make sure that you understand why I'm doing this greater gospel series. So Christianity gives us completely competing, gives believers completely different competing messages around the context of love. So I already mentioned John chapter 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. Now, the original reading of that is not that it has nothing to do with a sacrifice. It has nothing to do with a crucifixion. It has no expectation of a crucifixion in that sense. But it's that, your son is given. But then go further and you go to First John, which is a different John, maybe could be the same. Nobody knows. 1 John 2, it says, "Do not love the world." Okay, now, for God so loved the world that he gave his son. But a few books later, "Do not love the world, nor the things in the world. And if anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes." These scriptures used to torture me, by the way. I used to torment myself with these scriptures. And the boastful pride of life is not from the Father, but it is from the world. The world is passing away, and also it lusts, but the one who does the will of God lives forever. Now, how can I do the will of God when God loves the world, but I can't love the world? I'm like, whoa, what a mind fuck that is. I'm sorry, it's Sunday. I try not to cuss on Sundays because some people be watching with their kids and they be pretending like their kids don't cuss. And so I gotta play pretend with them. I'm sorry. All right. But and it's not, I'm not pointing this out just to critique Christianity. I'm pointing this out to show that this might not just stop at the doors of churches, it's possible that even when people deconvert and deconstruct, that they are still wrestling with these negatively biased views towards the idea of the world and these conflicting views of what it means to love. Okay? Because the underlying message in this one is, do not love anything that does not come from John's exclusive definition of God. Okay, but let's secularize that for a moment, just so that we can make sure that we're holding ourselves accountable to the same standards that we're holding others to. That also means do not love anything that does not come from anyone's exclusive definition of right. So then once someone defines rightness and then gets to tell you, hey, well, anybody who does not see rightness that way, you cannot love them. But remember when I said earlier that rightness always needs to be in consideration of wellness. Otherwise, we're just perpetuating the same type of virility that we've already determined decreases well-being, causes harm. And that's one of the things that I find is that we are absolutely okay with harm when it's our side doing it. We are absolutely apathetic to decreased well-being when it's happening to the other side. And so it isn't just, no, believers have an issue with love. I think we've all been infected by this. Let's go further. James says, and this is the one that some people believe was the brother of Jesus. James says, you adulterers, do you not know that friendship with the world is hostility toward God? Therefore, whoever wishes to be a friend of the world makes himself an enemy of God. Like that's what it says in the Bible. Okay, hold on. God so loved the world. But John makes it very clear, 1 John, do not love the world. And James, like he goes even harder. Hey, bro, don't even be friends with the world. Don't you know that being friends with the world is literally hostility towards God? Does that language sound familiar to you? Does it sound Does it sound familiar to you? You know? But then let's take it further. Going back to First John. John says, "Do not be surprised, brethren, if the world hates you. We know that we have passed out death into life because we love the brethren." Not because we love everybody, because we love the brethren. Remember that scripture that people like to quote about Jesus was that, you'll know my disciples by their love. Yeah, you'll know my disciples by the love they have for one another. Not you'll love my disciples by the love they show the world. Not you'll know my disciples by the love they have for everybody. The old gospel is exclusionary love. Because we know that we passed out of death into life because we love the brethren. He who does not love abides in death. Everyone who hates his brother is a murderer, and you know that no murderer has eternal life abiding in him. In Christianity, loving the world is exclusively reserved to God. God loves the world, and he also defines what loving the world means. For God so loved the world that he drowned everybody in it. That's how that works, because he gets to define what love is. But see, that doesn't stop at God. Like if you have a society that is infected by that belief, then no, that goes over to all different types of authority figures. That translates to all different types of authority, political authority, but even parental authority, even relational authority. Yeah. Okay. So in Christianity, loving the world is exclusively reserved to God. Humanity is doomed to endure suffering in the world and separate themselves from the world. Make that make sense however you can. While people claiming to speak for a God get the exclusive right to define what it means to love. And I think, like, if you pay attention to where we are in society and where we've been for a long time, you can see the problems, because what we still do is we go to other people to ask them what it means to love. Maybe one of the biggest problems, maybe one of the biggest side effects of religion is that we've cultivated entire societies that think other people have the answers to their questions, instead of cultivating people to learn how to get answers. And so people don't even trust themselves to live their lived experience and determine what love is for themselves. Okay? So this type of doctrinal overload, if you will, creates a built-in contradiction. If God loves the world, why is human love for the world treated as spiritual compromise? The answer in practice is that religion reserves true love for God and for those approved by doctrine, while the rest of the world becomes something to fear, resist, convert, or morally manage. All right. And I think that's some of the baggage of religion that many of us still kind of carry on. Watch this. Listen, that means, because I want you to get away from just this idea of, just religions do it. I need you to see where we all do it at. Yeah. See, I got to take my time with this one. I need you to see where we all do it at. Because even when you deconvert, it's still, the residue of othering others is still there. So the rest of the world, the others, the people you don't like, your new sinners, who are your sinners? Who are your sinners? Your sinners, the people who are not your saints, the people who are not your in-group, become something to fear, resist, convert, or morally manage. So the issue is not simply love the world versus don't love the world. The issue is who gets to define love and who gets excluded from it. Which brings me to our first point of today's conversation is when who matters more than how. Let's talk. I told you this is the greater gospel, man. This is the greater gospel. Let's talk about when who matters more than how. When who you love matters more than how you love. I want you to think about that. No, let that sit. Let that sit in your brain for a moment. Let that sit in your brain. When who we love matters more than how we love. Because isn't that how we've started to do love? Do we love it's do we love the same things that determine whether or not we love you? Who we love matters more than how we love. Listen, when love becomes loyalty, people become collateral. Okay. Loyalty based love protects purity first and people second. I think everywhere Abrahamic religious systems have impacted society, culture, and politics, love has been usurped with loyalty. I actually think that we have a love crisis because our relationships revolve more around loyalty than love, royalty than responsibility. Because the Abrahamic religious version of love is based in kingdom domination ideologies that bind identity by who we are loyal to through domination. We have to be dominated by the same top. So, therefore, our love for others and even the world we share has to be filtered through our loyalty to religion before our actual concern for others. And I'm going to run that back, okay? So, therefore, our love for others and even our love for the world that we share, it has to be filtered through our loyalty to religion before our actual concern for others. But let me run it back and replace the word. It has to be filtered through our loyalty to politics before our actual concern for others. Well, okay, let me go a little further. No, it has to be filtered through our loyalty to ideological rightness before our actual concern for others. Concern is only confirmed after the loyalty test. And even then within doctrinal, cultural, or political limits. And I'm suggesting that living in a world where Jesus or God has been seen as loving is exactly proof that our appraisal of what love is has been preemptively separated from what love does. Okay. Remember Forrest Gump used to say, stupid is stupid does. Well, see, no, love is as love does. And again, in a world where Jesus and God, as portrayed in the Hebrew and Christian Bibles, can be objectively seen as good. And that's how it's presented by some of the brightest minds. No, we can all agree that Jesus is an objectively good guy. No, we can't. No. In a world where most people have convinced themselves that when reading the Bible, the God character is a loving character, we have to realize that no, that means in the majority of human minds, or in many human minds, love has been separated from what it does. The religious and tribalistic versions of love are not based on decreasing harm or increasing well-being. They are solely based on pleasing a master or meeting an ideological standard. And in a society where that view is paramount, it does not stop at the steeple. It affects schools, the justice system, and the highest office of politics. Love that is based on loyalty is never checking for the results or the impact. You know, when love, this is how you want to know one of the most interesting things about the legal system in this country, like we have a lot of people who get cleared like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years later after being convicted for a crime. Okay? After being convicted for a crime. And many times they've spent that time in prison. And prison in this country, obviously, not a great place. So, but do you know how many times that happens and in the justice system in this country? And it happens because the defense attorney did not bring something up that would have cleared his client. Okay. And I'm not suggesting that it's a conspiracy or anything like that. Could be, maybe not. It could literally be the defense attorney is overworked, didn't see it, didn't think about it. That's not even my concern. My concern is that there is a senior legal expert in those courtrooms called a judge, right? Who has access to all of the course material and yet is not required to be held accountable to that standard of saying, hey, you could have brought this up for your client and you need to. Nope, it's not what we go back and do. Why? Because love is not in consideration of increasing harm or decreasing harm or increasing well-being. It's in consideration to pleasing a master or meeting an ideological standard. In the Johannine and broader Christian framework, love is split between divine permission and human prohibition. The result is a culture where love gets replaced by loyalty, and concern for people is filtered through allegiance to authority. So whether I love you or not has to be determined by whether we are hold allegiance to the same things or not. And for me, I'm like, what exactly then is your definition of love? It like, if we have to be like, you must be using a very strict definition of love. You're using a very intimate definition of love if you say, I can only love you if we share the same allegiance. And if that's your definition of love, then you've already excluded so many people and are still operating in exclusionary love while accusing others of doing the same. Religious love is actually just vertical loyalty. It measures who we love, not how we love. In this system, you don't have to be good to people. You just have to be loyal to the same leader or the same ideological framework. You know, loyalty is a contract. Love is a connection. If your love requires a loyalty test before it offers well-being, then you're not practicing a gospel, you're practicing a gang. Oh man. And that maybe that's what the good news was. The good news was you made it in the gang. And that's how we become even increasingly more tribalistic and somewhat socially regressive, which is leading to these types of loneliness epidemics and love crises. We have a love crisis because we've traded responsibility for royalty. We're so busy bowing to the top that we've stopped looking at the total. Okay, which kind of brings me to my second point, and this one is kind of smooth. When logos became a lock. See, there's a reason I am using this liturgical language for this series. Okay, like we're using words like gospel because, like, again, there is a reason the church has monopolized community, because community is the most effective social technology we have of instituting social change in real time. Okay. And so I want to show you something here the word logos, many people, if they didn't know better, would be absolutely convinced that logos is a Christian word. Logos. And I have to remind people constantly that there is no such thing as a Christian word, because Christian is not a language. Okay, let's go. Can we do that for a moment? There is no such thing as a Christian word. There is no such thing as a religious word, because religion is not a language. Christian is not a language. So logos, it's not a Christian word, it's a Greek word. Yeah, that's what it is, which means it has a history before Christians started using it. All right. So the original concept of logos, and I'm taking this somewhere. I am taking this somewhere. Okay. Oh, liturgy. I'm sorry, y'all. Liturgical. We have the original concept of logos was never just about one religious figure. It was a part of a broader human struggle to name reason, order, intelligibility, coherence. The fact that reality is not just chaos, and that human beings can participate in understanding their reality. Okay, so logos, as used in Greek culture prior to Christianity usurping a word, the word was about our struggle to name reason, order, intelligibility, and coherence. I'm going somewhere with this. It was our way of coming into a place of understanding that human beings can participate in understanding the world. Now, Christianity usurped logos with an idol to worship and an altar to stop thinking at. At a time in history where philosophers were finally coming to recognize that logos was not random, because there was a time that they thought that logos was random, but at a time where philosophers were starting to realize that it's not divine, it's human. This is the evolution of reason. This is the transition of us realizing, like, oh, this thing that we've been calling divine is actually us. This divine spark is just something within us. Now, there was no certainty about it. It was just like they were coming into that place of imagination. The imagination, realizing that reason is a part of of the human social anatomy. But Christianity comes in and reduced logos, logic itself, which is what logos is, logic itself, to one man, equivalent to one book. Okay? The word made flesh. These concepts, logos and word made flesh, were not exclusive to Christianity and result from people actually wrestling with reason and logic through the metaphor of poetry. And then religion turned that poetry into the point by doctrinalizing it. Christianity took that wider human insight and collapsed it into one exclusive object. So logos, instead of becoming a reason, becoming a process, becoming intelligibility, and logos, instead of being our coherence of the world around us, logos became one person. One person, okay? Reason became reason itself. Logos, reason itself became a savior figure instead of our saving grace, man. Y'all don't want to talk to me out there. The word made flesh became doctrine instead of the metaphor, instead of poetry. And in that way, poetry became policy and metaphor became an idol. By turning a philosophical concept into a historical person, the church effectively moved the goalpost of truth. So pre-Christian logos was a bridge, the rational principle that allows a human mind to understand the universe. It was a tool for wrestling with our reality. But then doctrinal logos is a wall, jalapeno, a specific person you must swear allegiance to. It turned the poetry, the metaphor for reason, into the point, which is the idol. At the very moment human beings were wrestling with reason as something woven into reality in human social life, Christianity reduced logos to one man and then demanded loyalty to that man as the condition for truth. Christianity didn't just spiritualize logos, it monopolized logos, which you see it even today when people find out that you're a secular, that you're a non-believer, that you believe something different, then how do you think that you got morals if you don't have God? No. How do you think you even have a mind if there's no God? It did not just spiritualize rationality. It monopolized rationality by placing itself and its doctrine as the founding figure of reason itself. It took a shared human struggle for reason and turned it into a throne, a person, and eventually a book. Christianity usurped logos with an idol to worship and an altar at which to stop thinking. Religion took the logos, the universal spark of reason and empathy, you see there, and put it in a box labeled authorized personnel only. They turned a human anatomy into a religious monopoly. The social cause. If love is defined by loyalty to divine authority, then people stop evaluating it by its outcomes. Instead of asking, does this reduce harm? Does this increase well-being? Does this create safety? Does this help people flourish? You begin to ask, is this faithful? Is this obedient? Is this the company line? Is this orthodox? Ultimately, is this loyal? Now, this shift is massive. When loyalty becomes the test, people can justify harmful systems while still calling themselves loving. And at that moment, that's just us regurgitating the residue of our religious baggage. Yeah, you still finding a way to see ourselves as loving, even when we're not doing loving things, because our love has become about who we love, not about how we love. So as long as we're loving the right people, it doesn't matter what our love actually looks like. hmm hmm So this is how you get families that confuse control with care, churches that confuse submission with intimacy, politics that confuse domination with moral order, and communities that protect purity before they protect people. A loyalty-based love ethic cannot reliably produce human well-being because its first responsibility is not to people, it's to purity. Abrahamic religion did not merely shape private spirituality, it reshaped the social imagination of love itself as we see it, as we understand it, as we engage with it. In that imagination, love is vertical before it's mutual. So hold on, but before I can consider you as someone worthy of my love, you see that? And what was last year's good news? No, if you're here, we love you. I may not like you. You may be aggravating. You may rub me the wrong way, but I get it. You're ribbed for your pleasure, not mine. You know what I'm saying? But if you're here, I love you. hmm Period. Not because I live in some cotton candy world where God tells me to. No, this is a real love. This is a mature love. It's an understanding. Flashback to last week. That no, I kind of need you to survive. It's understanding like no. Like we are on a floating space rock. We've lost access to like 90, 95, 96% of the world around us. With everything we know, it's still just a drop in the bucket. So at this moment, like we are in a cosmic storm on a delicate vessel, and it's all hands on deck. All right. Like that's life. That's how I imagine life. Life is you were born into an all hands on deck situation. And it's in your best interest to love everybody that's here. Okay. You ain't got to like them, but you got to want them to be at their best, because people don't do their best work until they are their best selves. So it's in your best interest to want people to be their best selves so that they can do their best work. Oh, okay. I'm just trying to make it plain. I'm just trying to make it plain. So the love becomes vertical, but before it becomes mutual. Obedience becomes more important than empathy. Loyalty more important than outcomes. Shared subjugation becomes the basis of belonging. If we are submitted to the same things, we belong together. If we're submitted to the same God, we then we can love each other. If we're submitted to the same religion, then we can love each other. If we're submitted to the same ideologies, is where we're getting together. We have a love crisis because we have been taught to confuse love with loyalty. We don't just have broken relationships. We've inherited a broken definition of love. And that's the heart of this message. And this doesn't stop at the steeple. If our foundational definition of love is loyalty to a dominant head, then our institutions naturally mirror that. For justice systems, it becomes about retribution and pleasing the law rather than restoration or healing the community. No. It's still, watch this. I don't know if y'all will get this reference, if y'all will get this reference or not, but it still becomes blood must have blood. We have to satisfy the blood debt. The blood debt has to be paid. It's still about retribution and pleasing the law as opposed to restoration and healing the community. Politics becomes about tribal identity, loyalty to the few rather than the common good. Education becomes about rote adherence to established word rather than the cultivation of the internal logos. No, I need you to understand this. I need you to get this. Not I need you to be able to repeat this. Like, could you imagine? Okay, now watch this, especially for those of you who went to school over here. Can you imagine if we actually had loving school systems and not loyal education systems? Oh my goodness, this is good. Jalapeno. No. Let me run that back. Could you imagine if we actually had loving school systems instead of just loyal school systems? Not that I just it's not that I just want you to be loyal to what I'm teaching you. It's not that I just want you to trust that I'm telling you what I'm telling you is true. Because when we talk about what is loving and what I'm talking about, the type of love that I'm talking about is not just what love is, but what love does, a love that is firmly concerned with the outcomes and not just the loyalty test. Not just are you faithful to the company line, but do you actually have an understanding of the world you're getting ready to inherit? Do you actually have an understanding of your ability to navigate it? Okay. So this brings me to the last point. When love is a result and not a ritual. Okay? When love is a result, what happens when love is a result and not a ritual? Love is not measured by what we do. It's measured by what comes from what we do. I got to say that again. This is for parents. This is for spouses. This is for friends, your BFFs, whatever you are. This is for partners. Love is not measured by what we do. It's measured by what comes from what we do. So many times we do things that we really believe are loving. We think, hey, I'm doing this because I love you. And that way you either sound like an abuser or a Christian. And I think those are almost always the same thing. you know, but you're like, no, I'm doing this because I love you. But what's happening from this when you do this? No, it's not just about what you do, because honestly, even when what you do is nice, if you're not paying attention to the outcomes of it, it was really more so about you than it was about me. And sometimes what we do, we say we're doing it out of love. And all actuality, you're doing it out of loyalty, and you're just trying to demonstrate that I'm loyal. But and loyal is nice, but sometimes loyalty can get in the way of loving me. You're so busy trying to be loyal to an ideology of me, or you're trying to be loyal in a context, but the loyalty in this instance is the shortcut. It's the shortcut that says you don't have to pay attention to the outcomes because you passed the loyalty test. Oh my goodness. No, so love is not measured by what we do. It's measured by what comes from what we do. If your love doesn't decrease harm or increase well-being, it's not love, it's compliance. I check the boxes. A loyalty-based love ethic is results blind. It protects the purity of the institution while the people in the world suffer. So watch this. Stop telling me what you're loyal to and start showing me who you've helped. Yeah. If your love for God makes you an enemy of the world, then your God is too small for the world we actually live in. Love that is based on loyalty is never checking for the results or the impacts, because the loyalty is all it needs. And that's how we get into the predicaments that we have today. Real love is accountable to results. Simply put, harm down, well-being up. If the will of God is the only metric, then the actual suffering of people in the world becomes a secondary concern, or worse, a necessary byproduct of truth. And I want you to hear me with both ears this weekend, because sometimes it is so easy to see this in what we left, but we need to always be checking it in what's next, so we're not repeating the same thing under a different label. I often warn people that we're not superstitious because of religion. Our religions are superstitious because of us. Okay? We're not corrupted because of politics. Our politics are corrupt because of us. Okay. Somebody gonna get it. It is a horrible workman who blames his tools for his work. Okay. And religion is the tool. Okay. Politics are the tool. Okay. So when the tool, oh, no. It's what we do. It's what we do. We have a problem. Love looks like participation. Show up, build, repair, serve, support, create. Love becomes greater when it moves just from how we feel into what we do and how it helps. So that's okay. How we feel, what we do, how it helps. Love becomes greater when it's returned to the world, not in the sense of indulgence or naivety, but in the sense of comprehension, consideration, and compassion. I have committed my life to building community because it is one of the greatest acts of love I can do, not just for this generation, but for the generations to come. If the world is always framed as contamination, you can never practice love. You can only practice separation. You know, religion promises extraction. We're going to get you out of this. You stay unspotted, unseparated. No, separated, not unseparated, separated. But humanity requires integration, getting in the way as opposed to trying to get out of the way. I mean, you in this, so you might as well get in the way. That's good. That's a solid preacher line right there. No. You're in this, so you might as well get in the way. And this is really, and I'm gonna try not to preach right here, but damn it, this is really what I get aggravated about with many of our beautiful people in the secular community. You're still operating from that getting out of the world type of mentality. I'm just going to stay untouched. I'm going to stay uncontaminated. My biggest thing is to show you how different I am for them while still not having a goal to get in the way, while still not trying to find ways how can we decrease harm and increase well-being. No, we need some people who are willing to get in the way. Who do you love? We need people who are willing to get in the way and stay connected, and stay connected. Love is not proven by withdrawal from the world. It's demonstrated by deeper participation in it. That means greater empathy. It means greater responsibility. You know why people don't like the idea of community? At the end of the day, I'm about to help you with this. I'm about to help you with this. And for some of you, it's going to step on your toes, but it's okay. I'm here for you. All right. One of the biggest reasons that people run away from community is because it sounds a lot like responsibility. Oh man, it sound, in a consumerist culture, we prefer to be the crowd over the community. We prefer to be the crowd over the community because the crowd has no responsibility. No, the crowd just shows up and watch. And that began to concern me a little bit because I was like, oh snap, we're building crowds and calling it community. And so now people don't know how to be a part of community. And so they think community is having an opinion. No, that's not community. That's being a consumer. Y'all ain't ready. Y'all are not ready for me this weekend. Darante, let's go. No, I think the community scares people because community, that sound a little bit too much like responsibility. But deeper participation looks not just like greater empathy. I don't just need to see your great tears. I need to see your come on. I don't just need to hear about your great heart. I need to see your great hands at work. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Greater empathy is the starting point, but greater responsibility is the requirement. And in order to get there, we have to deal with the greater honesty. We got to be honest about it. So I'm honest with myself. I'm honest as hell with myself. I'm honest with my team. Because that's the only thing that's going to get us to greater care and a greater commitment to shared flourishing. So many of us are trying to make it on our own, and that's what makes us too busy for the work of community. And I'm trying to show you, like I'm trying to tell you without telling you, because I can't say everything. I can't say everything. I have a history. I know the world we live in. I can't say everything, but I am putting the cookies out there. And I'm saying, if you do what you got to do to survive, but give time to community and give it time. Give time to community and give it time, and watch it transform your life. This is not doing something just to be nice. It is not doing something just to feel right. This is an acceleration. It is an acceleration, an accelerator, if you will, of wellness. It's an accelerator of wellness. It will give it your time, and give it time, and watch it transform your life. You know? But that only works if we're a community and not a crowd. If we're a community, we're not showing up just to see what Darante has to say. As a matter of fact, if we're a community, we are purposefully looking for other people in community who have a passion for communication, and say, hey, you need to get on the production team so you can spend time with the people who do stuff on the stage, because we're going to need to see you on one of these Sundays. Because everybody got something to do here. It's responsibility. See, listen, love doesn't need your prayers. It needs your participation. In the view of New Testament Christianity, the world is a competitor for our love. In the modern view of humanism, the world is the canvas for our love. You know? The world is the reason for our love. I don't love the world as a commandment. I love the world as a necessary consequence of being alive. I don't need a commandment. My love is not a commandment. It's a consequence. It's a consequence of being alive. So the greater gospel is, we don't love the world because it is perfect. We love the world because it's ours. We belong to it. Each other belongs to it. Each of us belongs to it. And any love worthy of the name must be measured by what it does within the world we actually share. Christianity taught generations of people to distrust the world they actually live in, while calling that distrust holiness. It told people that God could love the world, but that their own love had to be filtered through obedience, doctrine, and loyalty. That is not a deeper love. That is controlled love. And controlled love always serves power first, but the greater gospel calls us back to something more honest. Love is not measured by submission to a master, but by our willingness to decrease harm, increase well-being, and show up responsibly for the world and the people we actually have. You know? And so the last question I want to leave you with, and I don't think I made this slide, but it's, how does it show? The first question was, who do you love? But the second part of that is, how does it show? You know, who do you love and how does it show? I want to encourage you all, please don't let the algorithm steal your love. You know, outrage is a love distraction machine. Stop giving your hate more attention than your love. Your anger isn't proof. Watch this. Your anger isn't proof of what you hate. It's evidence of what you love. Community is the conversion of outrage into action, with volunteers, mutual aid, local response, consistent building. We are stuck in a love crisis because our energy is spent on algorithms of hatred, reacting to what we oppose instead of the anatomy of care, building what we love. What if you spent more time building what you love, building your solutions, building what you want to see in the world instead of reacting to what you don't want to see. So the question isn't just do you love, it's no, who do you love and how does it show? Spend some time this week auditing your week. Audit your attention, your money, your outrage, your loyalty test. That's your love map to show you, oh, that's what I love. Oh, come on now. A lot of people who join this community do so because they are tired of being angry without an outlet. They actually want to do something about the things that they're angry about. But they want something to be productive and they want to do something that's going to have impact. And that really is the power of community. It helps shift you from being angry to being active by serving as a consistent reminder that your anger isn't about what you hate, it's about what you love. Community helps pull people out of the spiral of reactionary hate by introducing them into revolutionary love. Chaos has confused so many to give the objects of their hatred more time, more attention, and more dedication than the objects of their love. And that is a love crisis. We're waiting for those, watch this, we're waiting for those who hate us to love us while hating them instead of loving us. I'm going to say it one more time because I know it's a lot of words, but y'all got to catch this. We're waiting for people who hate us to love us while we're hating them instead of loving us. The things we love, the people we love, the ideologies we love don't get the love they need to thrive because we've gotten caught up in the algorithms we've built around ourselves. Community is how we love ourselves so that we can love the world. I, as an individual, have nothing that I can offer to make any real substantial difference in this world. But we, as a global community, doing the work of connecting better, expanding locally, giving and showing up weekly, that gives us the power to stop just shouting and to start solving. It enables us to mobilize volunteers for community service initiatives everywhere we have representation. That helps us respond to crisis. The bottom line is that when you change I to we, even illness becomes wellness. That's the reality. That helps us respond to crises. Community isn't just how we connect. It's how we show up for those we love. It's how we show up for the things we care about. It's how we build around the solutions that we want to see. It's how we support the initiatives that we want to see in the world. So listen, if you're not connected to a community like Bird City, I have a serious question for you. Who do you love? And how does it show? Because the greater gospel idea, this series isn't just a conversation around, hey, the starting point is we have exciting news. The starting point is we have more reason to love people. We have less things that are in the way. So we actually have leverage. We have the competitive advantage. We have the stronger option. We have the see, some of y'all ain't never been involved in the church world before, so you just don't know. But right now, I am telling you that about 70% of people who are in church would walk away right now if there was a building right across the street. If there was a building right across the street that required none of the bullshit and offered all of the same community, they'd leave right now. The music needs to be just as good. The food needs to be just as good. But everything else, we have leverage. So if you're not doing community, I'm not talking about this from a religious aspect. My specialty is not just 20 years of church planting, which that should matter. I find that it doesn't for many secular people, but it should. But if that didn't, my background in my degree in social science with a concentration in leadership and a business administration, mine should. And the beauty of it is, because we're not in the church world, you don't have to take my word for it. Sociology is a real science, which is why we open up today's conversation with Harvard's MCC report. Because building social infrastructure, helping people connect better, is the solution. And so again, I say, if you're not a part of a community like this, what are you waiting on? My question to you is, who do you love? And how does it show? And if you have any struggle answering that question today, I want to encourage you to get connected to Bridge City. I want to encourage you to connect to this community, because that we are doing the work. We're finding ways to do it. We're not pretending to be experts, because that's the thing. The work of community has to be done by community. Most times I'm just sitting back saying, yeah, we're just not there yet. We're just not there yet. Why? Because it has to look like the people. It has to look like the people. So listen, if you're out there, get connected with Bridge City today. We love to have you a part of the team. Thank you for being with me today. Now let's jump over to our next steps.
What an incredible session. We are just scratching the surface of what it means to live out the greater gospel. I want to hear from you. What was your light bulb moment today? Drop it in the comments right now, or head over to the comments on the global campus to keep the conversation going. Speaking of moving the conversation forward, if you're making the decision to officially join Bridge City today, let me be the first to say, welcome to the Bridge. We don't believe in gatekeeping community. If you found freedom here, you belong here. Your first step is to follow the link on the screen. That is your portal to the global campus, where you can transition from a spectator to a builder. We've made your pathway easy with brief learning tracks that break down our mission and our model. By the time you finish your next steps, you won't just know about us, you'll know exactly how to plug in and make an impact. Joining gives you access to member-only content, specialized circles, and courses designed to help you live better. If you're ready to bridge the gap between where you are and where you're going, click that link. We can't wait to see you inside. For the rest of our family, if you value these weekly sessions and believe that a more inclusive, empowering gospel is worth spreading, let's create an opportunity for generosity. Your giving is the fuel for this mission. It makes this space accessible, sustainable, and most importantly, scalable. When you give, you aren't just paying the bills, you are empowering our bridges to reach further and support more people who are navigating their own deconstruction. Think about it, with relatively little, we've already impacted hundreds of lives through these sessions in our virtual campus. Imagine what we can establish and promote with your consistent, intentional support. Whether it's weekly or monthly, your gift allows us to train new leaders and power new projects that move people forward. The link and the QR code are on the screen. Thank you for making a statement of support today. You are the reason this vision has legs. And finally, don't keep this to yourself. A bridge is only as effective as the places it reaches. If you know someone who feels stuck in a religious construct that no longer fits, show them that there is life after uncertainty. Share this replay, invite them to a watch party, and let's show the world that the greater gospel is exactly what we've been waiting for. Let's reach the world together. Thank you for joining us this weekend for the Greater Gospel series. To our visitors, I hope this conversation gave you something to carry with you this week. Remember, the first time you're a visitor, the second time you're a guest, but by that third visit, you're as good as family. We can't wait to see you back here next weekend as we continue to explore what an inclusive, empowering gospel actually looks like. To our members, don't let the conversation end here. Make sure to stay updated on all our upcoming events and activities by checking the comments, diving into your clubs, and keeping an eye on the global campus calendar. There is so much happening behind the scenes to help you build better and live better. That's all for today, Bridge City. As you head out into your week, remember, you are no longer bound by the old constructs. You are free to be forward-thinking, people-centric, and life-affirming in every space you occupy. Until next time, keep rising and be the bridge.
Undetermined, even though my back's against the wind. I draw power in abundance from the circles I'm in. I'm good with them, 'cause I friend again. I've been burning like a candlestick lit on both ends. Undetermined, even though my back's against the wind. I draw power and abundance from the circles I'm in. I'm good with them, 'cause I friend again. I'm good with them, 'cause I friend again. I'm good with them, so I friend again. I'm learning what it means to be a friend again. I'm finding that I don't have to pretend. I'm in, so grateful that this isn't where my chapter ends. I'm good with them, so I friend